Action!
Yeah. Oh my god, potato!
What?
Hey, welcome to another day of Potato Princess. Today we have part 2 of 2 for meal ideas for leftovers. First, we're starting off with some scalloped potatoes by Fat Free Vegan. Her post is on her blog, and I will link it below. It's a really good recipe, and then I do some additions like hot sauce and smoked paprika. So here I start with about a half a cup of chickpeas and all of the liquid from a 15-ounce can of chickpeas. And then I'll be adding in a medium shallot and about a half a cup or a little less of nutritional yeast to give it that cheesy flavor. About a teaspoon of garlic powder, hot sauce, that's your personal choice. I like hot sauce. And just a few dashes of smoked paprika. And then I put in some plant-based milk, about a half a cup. I don't really measure. I just try and get the consistency at a certain level here, and this consistency is runny. I then add a little bit of salt and a bit more rice milk. And I blend it up. I would suggest blending it in something that doesn't spill over, like this device I have used. A blender would be much better. So as you can see, the consistency is runny. So I pour some on the bottom of the pan just so that the potatoes don't stick. I then slice up some potatoes with the mandolin. I don't really know the thickness, but it'll probably say in the recipe below how thick to do it. I just do whatever I feel like. I then layer them in the pan. And I just kind of overlap them a bit so that when you dish it out, it'll kind of stay together better. So I just keep layering, pouring some sauce over it, layering, pouring some sauce. And I only do about like 3 potatoes at a time. I mean, slice up 3 potatoes at a time. And then that way I can tell how much I need. So then I just keep, again, layering and doing the sauce. And I ended up having to make more sauce. So I just used the rest of the chickpeas that I had, put in some spices, and then again some plant-based milk, and it was enough to finish the recipe off. So before the potatoes go in the oven, I sprinkled some smoked paprika over for taste and looks, and I baked it for about 40 minutes in a 375-degree oven, and it turned out great. The second meal idea today is a black bean loaf. So I started off with some whole mushrooms, which I will blend, and added some rinsed black beans, a 15-ounce can, some garlic powder, I don't measure, and some Mrs. Dash, Mrs. Dash. What was that? Smoked paprika. El Yucateco hot sauce. It's really spicy, but it's one of my favorites. You could just use like cayenne pepper or like sriracha or something. And some nutritional yeast for a little bit of a cheesy flavor. I had some leftover tomato sauce in the fridge, so I just threw that in there. You could put in some veggie broth or other kind of liquid that you like. And then I threw some spinach in. I pulse blended this quickly and then stirred the sides down you know, because that's what you're supposed to do. I then added in some oats. When did I do that? Did I cut that part out? So yeah, I did add in some oats, and then I added in a bit more. I added in like about a half a cup or 3/4 cup. I do that so that it binds better and that it's easier to lift out of the pan. I also threw in a piece of toasted bread. I ended up blending this too much, so I would recommend not to do that. See, it's kind of unappetizing looking. It does taste really good, but yeah, just blend it up a bit too much. So pulse blend it, and yeah, don't over blend. So on the top, because I like to use up what's in my fridge, I took the rest of that tomato sauce that I had and put in some nutritional yeast and some spices, so like garlic powder. I think I put a little bit of hot sauce in here and smoked paprika. And then I just spooned that over the top, and it gives it like a kind of like a crispy outside, and kind of, you know, reminds you of meatloaf, I guess. So yeah, all in all, this was pretty good, but just like I said, over blended. So I baked it at about 375 for a half an hour, or not even, and it turned out pretty good.